Hello, friends, and welcome to today's episode. Since he couldn't believe what he saw, he lowered his cap to try to get a better view of what was going on. He had to stay out of sight. He knew he should do something, but he couldn't because it was an old habit. He had to just sit back and watch what was going to happen in his new life. He was so excited to eat dinner with his wife at Cracker Barrel. The 74-year-old man and his wife Annette were going to go on a date. He couldn't wait to eat a medium-rare steak with fluffy baked potatoes. He would get a cookie for dessert if he was really hungry. He didn't know what was going to happen to him and his wife, though. Lou was living a quiet life in Illinois at this time. He lived in Granite City, which is a great place to relax. He was glad to be retired after many years of hard service jobs, but she was always on guard because of his time in Vietnam. He became more aware after the war when he became a detective. He only had to look to see something. Lou was taking a moment to notice how nice and stylish his wife looked tonight. It looked like she worked really hard on their date night. Not only did she smile at him, but she smiled at everyone on staff. But he couldn't help but notice that some young guys were taking looks at Annette from a few tables away. He couldn't stand it. Lou saw that they were in good shape. He was a veteran, but at 74 years old, he couldn't fight more than one of them if they showed up. His lack of control made him hate himself. The guys thought they might be able to cut him in half. It looked like they were going to start a war of sideways glances as he tried to order dinner for his wife. He used to be a detective, so it wasn't hard for him to figure out that the men at the table were watching them. He knew he had never caught these men because they were too young. They might have been the kids of someone he had arrested before. There was something going on right away, even for the workers. Some thought kept coming back to Lou in the back of his mind. Something was off about their hair, he thought. He was sure once the steak got to his table. But just as he thought he understood what was going on, he saw one of the guys talking to the waitress and pointing at him. What did they do? The waitress looked like she didn't believe what they were telling her. It was big no matter what it was. Annette could tell he was worried by the way he was standing, so she gave him a gentle pat on the hand to try to calm him down. He was more interested than she was, but then one of them got up and began walking toward him. It was clear that the man who stood up was the biggest in the group. Besides being clean-shaven, he had a very sharp haircut that made me think of someone I knew. He walked in a certain way and his eyes were sparkling. Lou could tell from the look in this man's eyes that he had done some bad things. He stopped in front of him and looked him straight in the eye. After that, he lifted his arm and put out his hand. "Sir, I saw your hat. Thank you for your service to this country, my fellow cops," and I said. Lou felt better right away. But things had only just begun. The other people got up and came over too. Lou was an old fighter, but he could still blush. They thanked him over and over for his time in the war. They told a few short stories about their own work and problems. Then they gave him the bill for dinner. It had already been paid for. Lou felt tears coming out of nowhere and running down his face. A soldier didn't get paid much, and he knew that better than most. The boys gave out a lot of this. He told them they didn't have to, but their answer made him cry even more. The 5 men stood in a line and gave him the most precise greeting he had ever seen. The scene was being watched by everyone in the restaurant, and then joined. They cheered, clapped, and thanked him. He thought his heart was going to burst. Lou knew that things weren't always good for soldiers and sailors when they got home from war. There were mental and physical obstacles that were hard to get past at times. He was lucky. He was sure of one thing as he looked at the new crop. The service brought people together from different places and even different generations. From the same family, they were all related. He would always be thankful for that special bond. He was going to repay them in some way. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon for more amazing stories.